Okay, so whether you've been here for a year or two, or you're just moving here, or you're thinking about moving here in the middle of the pandemic, but you're thinking about moving here, tips from a real New Yorker. 10 years I've been here. I'm going to give them to you. Let's work. So just a few months ago, I celebrated my 10-year New York anniversary. So I guess that means I am officially a New Yorker. And I think I have a little knowledge about this shithole they call New York City. Oh, I'm sorry. The greatest city in the world. So yeah, here are 10 things, let's say the top 10 lessons I've learned, or 10 things, 10 insights from a real New Yorker. Nobody wants to help you move. If you want your friends to help you move, you're probably going to have to bribe them. They love you. They love you. They're happy that you're maybe moving to a better situation. They really, really are, but they got to do. You're going to have to bribe them with food, with alcohol, with money, with all of your many talents. You're going to have to bribe your friends. Or hire a moving company. You can always do that as well. Try not to get scammed. I got scammed once. There was this ad on Craigslist, and let's be honest, the price is probably too good to be true, so that was probably my red flag that I kind of ignored. And then after they got all of my stuff on the truck, they wanted to charge me like 3 times what the number was in the ad for labor and all this bullshit to get my stuff off the truck and put it in my storage unit. They tried to get me on that one. I ended up making it work, but they were really pushing to get me to pay entirely too much money to get my shit off that moving van. Get a look and stick with it. There are 6 million people living in this city, something like that. I don't know for specific numbers. Something like that. 6 million people, we're just going to say that, live in the city. How are you going to stand out? Because especially people who move here, we probably moved here to be, the best at something, or to attempt to be the best at something. Whether it's finance, whether it's the entertainment and the arts, whether it's fashion. Part of that is standing out from a crowd, and your look helps you stand out. So find one that works for you and stick with it. I think what it all comes down to is confidence, and having a wardrobe that makes you feel confident as you walk through this city. We don't have cars here, so basically our wardrobe is kind of what we present to the world. I feel like in other parts of the country, people maybe draw confidence in the car that they drive, and like how that, moves them through the world, where you're moving through New York on your feet. So you need to have something that shows you off in the best light, that makes you feel good. And if you feel good, you'll probably perform better at whatever it is that you're doing. So get a look. People are a last resort for directions. You have in your hand, in your phone, in your pocket, the entirety of Google Maps at your disposal. Why are you asking another human being for directions? It's preposterous. We are a last resort. Don't bother us, especially if it's for big tourist stuff. Don't bother us, New Yorkers. And what kills me sometimes is, especially when I'm in neighborhoods I don't know, people are constantly asking me which way is Halsey Street, which way is Mill Street. I'm like, I don't know. I'm so sorry. I do what the Google tells me to do. I'm a simple person in that way. I do what the Google tells me to do, and so should you. Enjoy your time being young and dumb in New York. It ends before you know it. Ah, youth. I remember those days, being young, and dumb in the city. I was young and dumb in the city with a decent income for those first 2.5 years. So it went down. Like there were nights where like me and the guys were like literally doing shots at a friend's apartment at until like 1 p.m. and then like,
I guess we should go to the club now.
you know, like that was like a Thursday night, and I had to work at like 8 a.m. the next day. That was my life, and I did it for a while. So yeah, enjoy those times, have your fun, try to be responsible, try not to spend all of your money on the festivities, but enjoy that time, because soon you're going to not be able to hang the way you used to. And if you don't have those days to look back fondly and think, oh, I did that, you might be that person who is in the, a certain age range, still trying to hang out till 4 a.m. with everybody and do all the stuff. And I'm like, you 30 something now. Like, nothing's changed? Like, you still just out here like that? Is that what's happening? All right. But me, I look back at it and I'm just like, oh, I did that. I had that moment. 2011, it did exist. It did happen. I don't remember much of it, but it happened. So I can look back and know that, I had that time, and now I can move on. There will be days when everything goes wrong, where you get caught in the rain, in the wrong shoes, and you miss every train and every connection, and you're late for the gig, and the people don't want to pay you for the gig, and Mr. Boy that you talking to can't return any messages, and you find out that they're charging 50 cents more for your favorite barbecue potato chips, and like you just can't deal. You just can't deal. So yeah, there are gonna be days when everything goes wrong, and just know that up front. And it's just like the bad days in New York, because there is so much that's out of your control in terms of transit. There's so much out of your control in terms of the cost of things. There's so much out of your control in the way that people interact with you and put their shit on you, and you have to deal with that a lot of times in a very physical way. So know that those days are going to happen, and have your way of dealing with it. Like, sometimes, like, I would need to just make sure I got a yoga class in. I would need to do something physical, or I would take a dance class, or I would just like come home, get in the bathtub, blast me some India Ari, and just have my moment. Get out the candle, get out the essential oils, whatever I needed to do. It's what I did on those days. And maybe have that one friend that you can call and talk to and be like, I just need to vent right now. There will be days when everything goes right. When you make all those train connections, where you feel like you are kind of sailing through whatever it is you came here to do. And you're surrounded by wonderful people. You receive opportunities, and like everything feels good. There's a few days I can think of like that. Like, I was working a retail gig between shows, and I had been back and forth with this casting director who I'd worked with before, and thinking like, there's no way these people are gonna hire me for this gig. Like, I'm only barely proficient at some of the skills that they needed. And I was like, I'm okay. I'm not great, but I'm like, I can do it. But I'm like, okay, I'll send you this video. I'll send you this information. Yes, I'm available, whatever. You're not going to hire me anyway. And I'm just like literally slaving away at the the retail gig. And literally it was late. It was like 8, 9 o'clock at night or something. And I am on my break, and I get the message on my phone saying that, yeah, we want you for this tour, and we need you in 48 hours. And I'm like, okay, this is what it is. This is how it goes now. And then, you know, of course you have to quit everything, and it's always somewhat satisfying to have to leave a survival job to go do what you really, really wanted to do. I've tried to make it so that my survival gigs aren't as soul sucking now, like with the yoga teaching and everything else that I do to supplement when I'm not, when I haven't been doing shows and things. I've tried to make them not so like, oh my God, I have to get out of here. But yeah, that was one of those days where it was just like, okay, I'm doing what I need to do, and things are happening the way they're supposed to happen, and it feels good. And it may be a gig, it may be the person that you meet, and it may just be a pretty day out, and everything just is just New York pretty, and people are actually nice to you. Sometimes that can be wonderful too, but there are going to be those days where everything goes right as well, and those are the ones that keep you here and that make you question why you might want to leave. Those are the days that kind of feed you. Remember those days, hold on to those days, hold on to those feelings, because if you don't and you kind of gloss over them, when the hits the fan, you aren't gonna remember why you're here. You're not gonna have anything to anchor you. So just remember those moments, hold on to them, treasure them. Yes. Your job is not your career. Now, ideally, job and career are the same. We're making the money, we're doing the gigs, we're enjoying our work, we're growing in the work, we're putting ourselves into it, we're benefiting from it, and those around us are benefiting from it. However, we all know the tea. We all know that a lot of times, to quote Miss Gia Gunn,
what you want to do isn't necessarily what you're gonna do.
So, like, just know the difference between your job and your career, and know which one needs to be the priority. Personally, for me, I was always that person who said that career was number one and job was, you know, somewhere else down the list. And if career had an opportunity thrown at me, job, you're gonna have to deal with me not being there. You're gonna have to deal with me being late. You're gonna have to deal with me taking this extra long lunch break, and I'll deal with the consequences because I will always get another job. It has backfired at times. I've usually been able to work it out because I'm generally, when I was working those retail type gigs, that was mainly my deal. I never did restaurants or anything. Retail was kind of where I lived in terms of survival gigs before I started teaching yoga. And yeah, when I was in retail world, I was pretty much that 100% dependable person unless career was calling. And so the few times when career would be like, actually, we need you to stay for this. Actually, we need to see you again tonight. I don't care what your work schedule is. We need to see you again. Those few times when that would happen, I would be like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. You know I don't do this. I'm like, oh, no. That was what I could get away with, because every other time I was there, I was on time, I was in uniform, I was doing what I was supposed to do to get my money. So if that's the situation you find yourself in, when you can be at the job, be 100% there. This is once again how I played it. When you're at the job, be 100% at the job, so that when career needs you, and you need to maybe call out or you need to be like, hey, I'm gonna be late today, they're not thinking like,
oh, but you like
always late. Like, what's this? This is not new. This is just who you are.
That's how I played it. You may find a different approach helpful, or you may find success immediately in your chosen field within seconds of moving to New York City. And in that case, I am so happy for you. People grow apart, and it's not personal. There's so many people who I love that I met within those first couple of years of moving to the city and finding my tribe and finding my group, and I don't really know what they're doing now. I mean, most of them I still see on the Facebook and the Instagram, so I know generally what they're doing, but like, it's not like we're in touch the way we used to be, and it's not a personal thing. It's just that people grow apart. Once again, I've been here 10 years. I was a different human being when I came to New York all those years ago. And I wanted different things, and at the time it was enough to have some income, to make some money, and hang and be around and be on the scene and just like, do that. But then I got to the point where it's just like, okay, after a few years of that, it's like, are you actually going to make moves in your chosen career? And if you're making moves in your chosen career, there may be things that have to fall by the wayside, though the amount of time that you're spending in the nightlife scene and things like that, because that's where I knew so many people. That's where I was. So once that started to pull back and I started to make other things priorities, and I flat out didn't have the money I was making when I was around those first 2.5 years. Those first 2.5 years I was at a corporate gig working HR. I had money to kind of like throw around. I did not have that when I came back from my first tour and I was trying to get another gig. Like, that steady stream of income from just going to work, she was not there. No. We had to reprioritize some things and figure some stuff out. And unfortunately, that meant less time. That meant less time to always be like going to the brunch and going to the bar and going to the concerts and seeing 15 Broadway shows with everybody. Like, there was less of that. And over that period of time, yes, there are certain people that I love that the relationship isn't as close anymore. And then once again, it's not hostile. It's just like, oh yeah, we were like really close. And so that happens. Once again, know that that's not personal. That happens just by virtue of being in this city, and everyone's goals and needs and ways of getting to those things may need to change. It's not personal, y'all. It's not personal. Some people, sometimes we broke, and sometimes we just want to be alone. Find a side hustle that doesn't drain you. We kind of touched on this a bit earlier. Yes, it is important to just have a gig if you're not immediately in your chosen profession making the money. Having something that can pay the bills while you're here. But I know for me, eventually it was important that I found something that I also liked doing, that wasn't draining, that didn't make me hate life. Any moment where I wasn't in direct pursuit of being on somebody's stage or in front of somebody's camera. So that's where the yoga came in. That's where I got my certification and all of that fun stuff. That's what it was for me. If you can deal with like the grind of a retail situation, if you can deal with the grind of a restaurant situation, do it. I personally could not. And so I had to make those other decisions. You know what's going to be best for you if you want to take that time and take that money, because it more than likely might be an investment. I know for me it was, once again with the yoga. That was an investment of time and money. There were gigs that I did not do because I had already made my down payment on my yoga training, and I was like, I am taking this time for yoga right now. So it was a sacrifice. But in the long run, it was what needed to happen, and I'm grateful for it. So yeah, if you're the type of person who needs just a little bit of inspiration and can't like drain yourself from the job versus the career, maybe find a side hustle that gives a little more to you rather than you just giving everything you have to it and nothing coming back. Yeah. Find a hobby that can check multiple boxes. We're in New York. Everything has to serve multiple purposes. Everything has to multitask. Everyone has to multitask. So, especially once the money got tight in my life, I was in a situation where I had to find hobbies that would multitask as well and check multiple boxes, like something that would maybe check off the fitness box and the social box and the moving toward my career box. So I did work study at one of the dance studios in the city. So like it's an entire social ecosystem there of people also in my industry. B, the classes are keeping my body together. C, the classes are making me better so that maybe I can get one of these gigs at some point. The yoga was also doing the same thing in terms of it's an income thing, also a social thing, also a spiritual thing, also a keeping this body together thing. So with those worlds kind of combined, I was making sure I got a lot of things taken care of with basically 2 prominent activities that were happening many times every week. That was what I did. It was helpful for me. Maybe it's Soul Cycle or something for you. I don't know. If you're a cycle person, that's a lot of energy for me. Like CrossFit, that's a lot of energy for me. Like dance fitness, it's a lot of energy for me. I don't know. I don't want to say I'm traumatized by my sports experiences in the past, but like I've had enough intimidating white men yelling at me. I get it. I know what that is. I don't need it now. I don't need to pay for it now. Like, y'all can keep that energy for somebody else. I'm gonna be over here motivating myself from within. I do not need Drill Sergeant Bruce in my face throwing kettlebells at me. It's really not what I need. No. No dick is worth the trip to Jersey. Don't do it. All right, y'all. So that is the list. Hope you enjoyed it. My manic rambling for however many minutes this has gone on. Probably too long. But yet you're still here, and that's why I love you. That's why I appreciate you. If you liked this particular video, just let me know below, hitting that like button. Maybe write a comment. Let me know if you liked it. Let me know if you want other types of videos going forward. I can keep doing New York specific stuff, or in the meantime, just keep it peripherally focused around being a creative in New York and all that other stuff that comes with it. Yeah. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe. And while you're at it, please watch the video that's going to be right over here. That one. I think you're going to like it. Bye, y'all.